Well, the sky is pretty much the limit, as I say. There are so many roles and variety of roles in the financial service industry. At Gregor Howitt Wealth Management, there are 4 key roles. You have the financial advisors, which Billy and myself. The skill base you need for that are very specific, and there's very specific exams that you need to go through, for example, through the Chartered Insurance Institute. The other role that we've got in our practice, we need a practice manager, somebody to actually oversee the day-to-day running of the practice. And obviously having 2 offices, that's a key role over 2 locations. They need to have managing of staff skills as well. Another thing that we have quite unique to our industry is paraplanning. Paraplanning is the individual who will assist me with complicated cases, but they'll also help write and draft very complicated client reports. To do that requires a great deal of attention to detail and very strong analytical skills. And obviously, every business, we need administration staff. And again, we need staff who've got a great attention to detail and really good client servicing skills.
When we're recruiting, what someone has studied is not a primary focus for a candidate. Due to the nature of our industry, there's a high level of training of somebody who wants to work in our industry that needs to happen, usually within that industry. So it's unlikely that a new candidate will actually have learnt all those skills at university. However, people skills, aptitude, oral written communication, along with IT skills, particularly Microsoft Office and administration experience are an added bonus.
We've got a really broad spectrum of personalities and skills within our team, and that's been intentional. To do a paraplanner role, you need to be very analytic and maybe not so interpersonal skills important there. But someone who's actually involved in making client appointments or meeting our clients, then obviously being a very people-friendly person is really important for that. We've got a very tight team here, and anybody new coming in has got to slot in and work with all the rest of the team there. A key thing for me is that I empower all my staff to take initiative and work on their own. But importantly, if you're doing that, you need to take ownership of what you're working on as well.
Again, this is a nice to have, but it's not essential in our industry. Experience and understanding business functions will help you transition into the role and may be beneficial when undertaking study for professional development. But we, as a firm, we don't penalise somebody because they haven't worked in an office before. We're more focused on those skills that Gregor outlined, that they're actually going to be able to bring that to the firm when they start with us.
A relevant tailored CV, I've looked at so many CVs over the year, and people send it a very generic, or I've had CVs that are talking about another job altogether. And I would say a very relevant tailored CV with a very good covering letter is really important as well.
Yes, so providing a generic one-size-fits-all CV does not demonstrate that you're actively seeking a job with Gregor Howitt Wealth Management. This just shows the candidate is looking for a job, a place to be employed. I would say don't over-exaggerate your skills or your abilities. Be truthful, because eventually you'll be found out.
Yeah, also another thing, list hobbies or interests, which kind of helps you stand out from the crowd. I mentioned earlier I'm very much into volunteering, so I often look for that when I'm looking at a CV. I've also had people telling me what their favourite food is in CVs. We're not really interested in that, so try and keep the CV quite relevant. Another thing, spelling errors, poor grammar. It's amazing the amount of people that have applied to work in a company and they make lots of spelling mistakes in the CVs, grammatical errors, because we, as I mentioned earlier, very heavily regulated. What we put out, it needs to be very accurate, so it's a key thing. And always proofreading is important. Also, short periods of employment with multiple employers or large career gaps. I've seen that for a few people as well. Make sure that you cover that in your letter, because a lot of people looking at CVs will maybe just discard it if they see a gap. But if there could be a very good reason for a gap, but please just explain why it's there. Yeah, I've interviewed and I've employed dozens of staff over the years. The big thing that I'm personally interested in is work experience. A lot of people come to us thinking that they haven't got experience in financial services, but I look at the skills that they've acquired in other roles or maybe through college, and really look at them and see how they can be transferred over to working with myself. As I mentioned earlier, attention to detail is core, and a lot of jobs require that. I think resilience is really important as well. The ability to learn new skills and adapt. We work in an industry that is always changing. It's very heavily regulated. And so somebody who can keep on top of that is really important.
So be prepared. Look at the website and research the company and the industry in depth. Think of a couple of pertinent questions beyond the usual interview script. There's a lot of questions out there that universities will prep you for. Employers are well versed in these. So what they're looking for is actual genuine interest in the industry and the firm. So what we're looking for day to day is what you need to get out in the interview. So think outside the box. If a candidate doesn't have a specific experience in finance, it is likely they still have transferable skills that they should be able to present during an interview. But if we don't know about that, we can't mark you on that. Examples could also draw from personal experience in clubs, sports, or volunteering, for example. So myself and Gregor both played rugby, so we know the benefit of team sports, but there's benefits of individual sports or extracurricular activities.
Yeah, another one is make a good first impression. A lot of people think the first impression starts when you come into the office to be interviewed, but I've spoken to the receptionists. Often say, how did the person come in and conduct themselves? What did they say? What did they do? So really, as soon as you're entering that building, be prepared that somebody's maybe looking at you, making an impression. I think it's really important to dress appropriately and present yourself with good mannerisms and enthusiasm. I once gave a job to someone coming for a receptionist job with us, and I gave her the job basically before she even spoke a word. She just sat so well at the front of the office. She was cheery, she was smiley. And before she even opened a word to me, I just thought she's got qualities that would be really good. So yeah, just watch out for first impressions. They do last.